Well, good afternoon, or whatever time you're watching this, everybody. Hope all is well. It has been a minute since I've made a video. For good reasons. Business is just incredible. So, got 3 knives. Last 3 knives of the day. I just figured I'd whoop up a video and have a little fun. So, I don't know what steel these is. That they have Japan on the blade. Quality knives. So we're going to sharpen them up, and so my process is going to be the usual. I will thin them. That's probably a 120, maybe a 80. I had a 80 on doing some other knives. If the knives are not real bad, I'll just do them with a 120 thinning. And sometimes it's just a maintenance thin. You know, if I've done them before, I'll still set them up there and just swipe them. Sometimes it don't take 1 or 2, but you know, it's just become such a habit to me and a process that delivers just excellent knives. So that's what I'll do. I'll thin them, then I'll blend them in with a 220 Scotch Brite, and I'll do a 120 and Cubitron and an A30 on that one. Then we'll move on to the honing. So bear with me, we get this going, and we'll see what happens. That one already had the white line. That was a burr immediately. Come back on the slack part, get a little concave, a little blending. 220 Scotch Brite. That one's done. Already see a burr coming up on this one. I don't know if you can see the white line or not, but it's definitely there. Tells me I'm done. I got the apex right. You can see that little dip where somebody's used a pull-through sharpener. So what I'm going to do is just kind of take that back edge off of it. He didn't say nothing about it, but I just want to do it to make it look professional. That's better. That's done. See that one too, got a little mark on it. That's from the pull through, but I'm not gonna take that out. I'm just gonna leave it. Let me turn all this off. All right. Drag up my stool. My shop is a mess right now, but that's all I can do about it. Ain't nothing I'm gonna do about it right now. All right, so safety glasses were on my head and I didn't take them off. All right, here's what we're gonna do now. Most of the, like this one here, I took some of that out, but you can still see it's got some of the pull-through sharpener damage. You know, it's when you push down and pull, it puts that initial pressure on it. And yeah, so that looks pretty good. That one isn't too bad. You can still see the burr, the white line on this one. We're gonna take that off now. But you know, most of the videos, let me just drop back a minute and talk about this. Most of the videos I make are for my actual customers that bring me knives. I'll video the process and give them the link to it so they can see the work that goes into their knives. And also it's just a record for me, and I go back and watch the videos and I learn a lot from them. But when I talk about thinning, it's the question I get from the people. And you know, it's just one of those things that a knife sharpener knows. And you know, a customer will get the knife and it'll just cut beautiful, and you know, they won't realize, but it's because of the thinning. But I'll just go over it real quick. Don't mean to be boring if you know what you're doing, but as the knife steel gets worn, it gets up into the thicker part of the blade. You can see a knife blade is tapered, and you can see the bevel right here. Well, as the metal gets thicker, then when you sharpen it, you're really just 45 degree or angling the side at whatever angle you're on. You're never really getting to the tip, and that's what we call the apex. So you have to thin them back down, and you know your job's done. You'll see a white line come up, or I'll see a white line come up, and that's the burr. So I know I'm done. And I've just gotten the habit of doing it on every knife now. It don't take that much longer. But the beauty part is I'm doing all the work up here in the structural part of the steel, not the edge. So if I didn't thin these and I started on the 1x30, sometimes you have to go 6, 7, 8 or more times to get a burr. Well, you're working too much on that edge and you get what's called work hardening, and it makes the steel brittle. So by thinning, I'm doing it up here in the, you know, in the structural heavy part of the steel, not the edge. So now when I go to sharpen them on the 1x30, one swipe I've got a burr, but I usually do 2 and then a light swipe just to kind of help remove that burr a little bit. So we got it thin. I'll do the Cubitron 120 and drop to the A30, which is a 600 grit. And you know, the knife's sharp at that point. From then on, it's just about honing and removing the burr, finish removing the burr. Right now, we're kind of reducing and refining, but the last steps will reduce it. I'll talk about that then. So let me get these sharp. I got a great burr on that. You really don't need to go but one swipe, but I've just got a habit, a routine. 2, 3, done. 1, 2, 3, done. And then every now and then, just a light swipe on the other side, I guess. Don't even know which one I just did. All right, so that's all there is to it for the 120. I'll go with the new. It's been a long time since I've ordered belts. Of course, I get them from Cliff, from Curry Custom Cutlery. That's the only place to get them from, because Cliff is a very helpful individual if you have questions. He is a good person to have on your side. And honestly, I live 30 minutes south of Atlanta, not far. And one time I was in a bind for belts, and Cliff had just run out So I ordered some from a company, very familiar company out of Atlanta. Not only did they cost me more, and I'm having some serious issues here. Not only did they cost me more, but the shipping on them cost me more than what Cliff does when he ships them from Hawaii. So another good reason. All right, we got some issues here. Let me concentrate here just a minute and get this taken care of. A new belt sometimes hard to deal with. There we go. Of course, talking at the same time ain't helping it. So all I'm gonna do is 1, 2. 1, 2. That one's done. 1, 2. I'm looking at that cut now. Sorry, you're probably not even seeing. Looking at that pull-through sharpener damage, I almost wished I would have just taken them out. So what I'm going to do is, once I'm finished sharpening, I'm going to go back and redo that knife. Even though the customer won't know it or know any difference, I do. And as a professional sharpener, we owe it to give the best job possible. And that's taking that pull-through sharpening damage out. So I'll redo that one. All right, so my honing process or my burr removal, probably extensive, but you know, it's mine. It's what I'm comfortable with and what works, and I have a whole lot of satisfied customers. So we'll just stick with it. And I did this under magnification because I used to get them sharp, but it just wasn't quite right. And then the addition of the rock hard felt wheel really took it to the next level because I know I'm getting that root burr off. So I'll go rock hard felt, and I'll go the paper wheel, and then I'll go to the leather wheel. The first two angles, or the first two swipes, I go higher than angle. So I'm almost at a 45, swipe, and then I'll drop it down. Very light, very, very light strokes. Started using a paper wheel and I had just gotten spoiled on this. All right, I should have got some paper before I started, so let me grab some to test. I only do this for my purposes only, not showing off how sharp a knife is, but just reading the paper tells me a lot about where I'm at and if I'm done. I don't want to see any hesitation at the paper. I just want it to slice and I want it to push cut. And that right there does it. Wow, that's sharp. See, if I start right there and I just start pushing, sorry, got a bad spot in the paper. That, my friends, is a sharp knife. I like it. I'm not doing anything else to it. I know people that have used a felt wheel and they said that I'm just not getting out of it what they thought. Of course, we all sharpen different, but it's the rock hard felt for me that made the difference than just a regular felt wheel or a hard felt. It's got to be rock hard. All right, let's see what this one does. Somewhere right here, just a little. Not quite ready.